I'm Sara Lee, and this is singingtv.com. Together, you and I, we're making singing simple. I'm really sorry I haven't been here for a long time. I know. You can write me angry emails, but so it goes. We're here with a live audience. A bunch of my LA Music Academy students are here, so if they're making noise or coming and going, you know why. Woo! Hey, there you go. And have given me a couple questions lately. How do I do this? What do I do about that? La la la. So, we got another Sara. Sara Santilli from Italy has a question. Come on up. This is episode number 40-something. Ask me your question. Tell them, the world of people who are all watching Singing TV, because they probably have similar questions. Go ahead.
Okay. I don't know what. Okay,
Okay,
I don't
so
know
Sara
what
has a
to say
problem.
because I can't speak English very well, so sorry.
I'll translate it. It's all good.
Okay.
It's all good. Come here.
Okay.
Look at them. No. Sarah came up to me while I was walking here to tape this, and she said, "What do I do when?"
Okay, yeah. What? Yes. Then, if you know some musician, okay, if you know this musician are good. You know,
good
but
musicians.
good musician.
You know
good
they're a really
artist,
good musician,
yeah,
but
is a bad person.
Okay.
What do you do?
Yeah, she came up to me and said, "What if you know a good musician is a good musician, but hey, stay back up. Don't go. But they're kind of an," she said, "they're kind of an a-hole." So
Yeah.
we won't say that on television, but okay. So meaning you want them to this person was a musician. You want to play with you, back you up.
Sorry?
This is a person you want this person to play with you, right? You want to
Yeah,
be your
I
band?
want
Okay.
to play with this person,
Yeah.
and
But he's mean, and you don't like him as a person. You just
no,
like him
because
as a
it's
musician.
very bad person.
Okay. This is a great question. The
But he's a
reason-
good artist, so it's very strange.
Usually, raise your hands, you guys. I know the camera can't see, but if you've met somebody who you really, really love their music and it was so exciting. Ooh, every single one of the people in the room, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 people, 9 in the room. All of them have met people. Raise your hand if that person was nice to you. Raise your hand if that person was a total a-hole.
What if sometimes they were nice and sometimes they were totally
Interesting. I don't know. Okay. Now, here's my experience. I'm going to tell you a story about my good friend. You can sit down and watch, fine. Someone who I play with a lot now. We'll call him Joe Blow. I was going to call him his real name, but I don't think he would like that. We'll call him Kyle. So I went to high school with Kyle, and I was in this jazz choir. And that's how I got into jazz, which is hysterical because that's what I do now. So I was in this jazz choir, and we were singing songs by this great vocal jazz group called the New York Voices. Well, I was singing New York Voices arrangements, but I didn't realize that they weren't the first people to write the song. Some of the songs were by Lambert, Hendricks, and Ross. Some of the songs were by Miles Davis. All of these things. So I didn't know that yet. I was 15, 16 years old. I knew nothing about this kind of music. And, you know, was just waiting for somebody to educate me. And, of course, it was my responsibility to go off and learn more stuff. But I did. And I remember that this drummer, who I went to high school with, he had to accompany our jazz choir. And I remember him mumbling under his breath, like, "They don't even know the original." And I remember thinking to myself, even back then, "Look, you a-hole, why don't you tell me what it is that I'm supposed to learn? Hey, Sara, check out the original. Man, it is so good. It's even hipper than this, or, you know, or this is the original. This is where it comes from. You should always know where it comes from." Fast forward, years later, I finish high school, I go off to the Berklee College of Music, then I go to New England Conservatory, I know jazz, I learn things, I become, you know, relatively good at what I do. I come back to Los Angeles, and I'm ready for a concert, and it's a big concert at one of the two big jazz venues in LA. Well, I didn't know that many people in LA. All the people I knew were at school and in, you know, Boston or New York. So I was left with this conundrum. Who do I hire? I went back, I hired this same guy, because he was the only guy I knew. I figured, well, eventually I'll get to know more people and they'll be nicer. This guy had eventually learned, obviously, the lesson of you can't be mean all the time or nobody's going to want to hire you, right? I mean, obviously, there are other lessons to be learned from not being mean, but this one was kind of a big one. If you're mean, if you're not easy to work with, nobody wants to hire you. And it's a funny thing that happens a lot when you're trying to get either session work, studio work, or going on the road with people, backing people up. If you watched the interview that I did, you know, I'm forgetting which one it was, I'll tell you if I remember. If you watch some of the people interviews on singingtv.com, you'll notice that the reason people want to come on and help people is because they were educated too. So anyway, I hired this guy, Kyle. Kyle plays his butt off. He does a great job, and all of a sudden is really, really, really nice. And I said, you know, Kyle, you were kind of in high school, you were really mean, and I didn't understand why you didn't just say, hey, check this out, check this out, check that out. And he said, well, yeah, you know, I was a teenager. What can I say? I was just into what I was into, and I didn't like when other people, you know, I had to play music that I wasn't into, and I really just wanted to play that. And he said, but, you know, I got out of high school and I got my education, and I realized not only did I have to be nicer, but being nicer had a big influence on who hired me, who paid me. You know, it's a big thing. Sometimes when I get hired as a studio musician, people say to me, people hire me because somebody has recommended me. Literally, they don't even hear me sing. Maybe they go on my website and check it out or something, but they literally don't hear me sing. And I don't think that people even realize in the music industry quite how much that happens. It would be like if you said to somebody, oh, this person's really good at carrying stuff, you should totally have them be your golf caddy. Well, okay, great. Then the golf caddy gets the gig, right? You're not going to like have them carry stuff to test if they can golf caddy. You just take them to the golf course, and if they can carry your crap, they're hired, right? Well, it's very much the same thing in music, that sometimes when you know someone and respect their opinion, if somebody asks me for a recommendation, my recommendation really, really carries weight. So I'm also very careful not to recommend somebody who's going to be mean or not going to be fun on the road or something. It's a really big thing in the music industry if you can make the hang, if you're a good person on the hang. Meaning, if you're stuck in a tour bus on the road or you're going from hotel to hotel on the road week after week and month after month, you should be like a cool, fun person to hang out with and not be, you know, crazy or in any way, you know, unsociable or all those kinds of things. So to answer Sarah's question, the question was, what do you do if you really like this musician and you want to hire the person, but you're not sure you'll get along? I would say the answer is twofold. The answer is either don't hire the person, or say to the person, hey, I really would like to hire you, but you know, the way you come off, it's really not nice. I really don't like it, and frankly, I'm afraid we're not going to get along. And I'm planning in the future to get a lot of gigs and be able to pay you for all this stuff. And this is a student, of course, so we're not talking about gigs that pay, you know, $100,000, $200,000 a night. We're talking about playing together and building a rapport, right? However, later, you know, you may be making a lot of money hiring this person to play all over. And frankly, if that person is musically great, but really not nice, or not cool, or doesn't listen to what you say as the band leader and doesn't implement those things, if I say, I really want you, hey drummer, I really want you to play cross stick here, you should play the cross stick. Or say to me, you know, I think that'll work, but maybe we should do this instead. Not that you can't be open to, to compromise or to working on your music together, but I would either say to the guy, and here's the thing, I had wished, and I said to my friend Kyle, hey Kyle, I wish you had told me those things in high school. I wish you had taught me. So if you don't ever say to your drummer friend, hey drummer, I really, you know, I want to hire you, but I don't think you're very nice. And guess what? There's a whole school full of great people who can play the drums, and a lot of them are much, much, much nicer. He'll never know and he'll never learn. And he may never get hired by singers, and that's doing him a disservice. Does that make sense? I hope that helps the rest of you. This is, I don't know, what do we call this episode? What to do when your band member isn't nice. Maybe that's going to be the title. Thanks so much. Thanks everyone for being here. I'm Sara Lee. This is singingtv.com, and together you and I, we're making singing simple.